Hello, everybody. This is Tiffany with the Private Room, and tonight we are going to be talking to Kenny Robinson, Kerry Shipman, and Kay Davis, the Hitman. It sounds like we have some star K's tonight, so we are going to have our artist spotlight. He's going to be joining us here real quickly, and then we are going to talk to Mr. Kenny Robinson with Freedom Fighting Missionaries about his mission, his purpose, and he's going to share his story with us tonight. And then we're going to have the pleasure of talking to Mr. Shipman, who was very helpful in joining us at the last minute tonight. So I'm very, very excited that I was able to get him on to talk about his upcoming event, and all of our guests tonight tie in together. So I hope that you are ready, that you're listening. If you are listening and you are have any questions, if you want to make any comments, please drop them in the comments on the thread on our live, which is our Facebook page, the Private Room with Tiffany. Please there, your questions there, and I will be able to see them. Also, our artist spotlight will be coming on at the beginning and the end, so please make sure that you tune in, because we're going to ask you what you think about their music. So let's go ahead and get started. And this is songs from Kay Davis, the Hitman.
Type of chick I wanna see in my hood. Oh Lord, yeah, I wanna give her to a body on fire. Put a little wiggle to ya. Get a loose, lady, yeah, you the truth, lady. We can ride out, lean back in Mercedes. 2022, you grown, girl, you 22. I'm a bronze dude, that show you what this money do. Big house, big car, something stunners do. Let a nigga act up, try to come at you. I exercise my muscles like runners do. And you a bad bitch, yeah, it's only one of you. Down on the floor, do the eagle. Get it, girl, you the best. Let me see you hit the floor and dog fresh. Get it, girl, let me see you. Drop down on the floor, do the eagle. Get it, girl, you the best. Let me see you hit the floor and dog fresh. Just do it, girl. Just do it, girl. You flossy, fancy, I knew it, girl. Toe game crazy, plus you on point. You got a bite like a motherfucker, you a joint. Do your dance, girl. Let them all see it. You the life for the party. Come on, be it. Lot of ice on your wrist, see your next see it. Tag your girlfriend, put her on the floor, see it. You gon' dance, girl, get nasty. You gon' dance, girl, get nasty. You gon' dance, girl, get classy. You gon' dance, girl, get classy. Get it, girl, let me see you. Drop down on the floor, do the eagle. Get it, girl, do the best. Let me see you on the fresh. Girl, let me see you.
Let me see you drop down on the floor, do the get it, girl, get it, the best, do the best.
Let me see you hit the floor and go fresh. Get it,
What's happening, partner? Let's go.
You the best. Let me see you hit the floor and dog fresh. Get it, girl.
Let that house tonight. Let that move in the house tonight. Let that move in the house tonight.
Let me see you hit the floor and dog fresh.
Yeah, here we go now. 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 And let me see you just throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you're ready to rock with the Hitman tonight, let me hear you say, oh yeah. Ladies say, Come on. What up, y'all?
Exile him. Exile him. He's the greatest of all time.
Yes. I like it. I like it.
Hey, listen. That record was a Dougie Fresh record. It was for Doug, right? But Doug felt like he didn't want to rap on it. So he said, you know what? I'm going to give you a break, nephew. I'm going to let you rap on a song, but it's a song dedicated to him. It's something that you know, that's not going on right now. Hip hop is not going on. Real hip hop is not going on. You know,
Very true.
Everything is drill, trap, kill 'em up. I got guns big as my arm, all kinds of, you know what I mean? So I thought about doing something different and bringing a party back to the industry for a second. I don't know how long it's going to be here, but I wanted to bring a real party back. You know what I mean?
Yes, I loved it. And I saw that our guests were rocking out to it too. So how long have you been in the music industry? Give me some background.
Oh man, since 1990. I mean, I was a kid running around with Doug. Yeah, that's like my biggest inspiration. That's my father's brother. So I ran around with him. I've been in the 1990s. I've been signed to Motown. I've been signed to various labels, but they couldn't really understand and see my vision the way my vision is supposed to be saw. So I had to just play the background, be a roadie, writing songs for Doug and trying to get in where I fit in. I got the plaques that came in the mail. The Doug Fresh, you just heard that. It just hit the charts, 110 on the charts.
Nice.
So I'm happy about that. And then After the Flow went to the mega streams on Apple. So I wanted to, share that with y'all. It's a blessing that God still allowed me to have talent and still allow me to be as strong as I am and consistent in this game. But we got the young boys playing. I ain't saying I'm no young boy. I mean, I'm a seasoned dude. But I love hip hop, man. Hip hop is what I grew up on. Melly Mel, Grandmaster Flash, Kid Creole. I was like a little dude. Yeah. The names I heard being around Doug, I heard them names and I saw them. You know, Melly Mel had the platforms on. It was all pretty, the makeup on, all crazy. So that was what I saw. So,
yeah. So I love it. So I'm a 70s baby. So I can understand everything that you're saying. I think we're probably around the same age. So I definitely was rocking with that, and I felt that beat. I felt the beat. I definitely did. What do you think? What do you think, Kerry? What you think, Kenny? What y'all think of that? How was that for y'all?
Honest, man, I could take it, man. I could take anything right now. I'm hip hop.
So I'm originally from Harlem, New York. So it sounds like that's right.
What part of Harlem are you from? I'm from Harlem.
I'm from 117 and 7. So I feel everything.
You by Wolfpack. You by Sesame Street. Let's go, baby. Oh yeah.
Something to say next.
All right.
I'm 123rd Manhattan Avenue. You know how we play?
Money Ave, I hear you.
Oh
okay.
Man, I love you, baby. Let's get it. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. What about you, Kenny? What you think?
Ken, what up, baby?
Hey, what's happening? Yeah, I like it. I mean, we need a blend in between, like you said, the trap and the drill.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you're coming into the club or you're coming into the party, that gives you something to get to the bar on.
You want to do it, that's what I'm saying? Yeah.
Get to the bar on that.
That's a fact. You know me, I'm not no arrogant dude. I'm from Harlem. We come to party, have fun, smell good, look good, get some money, take care of our families. You know what I'm saying? I'm not arrogant. I mean, even though Doug is to me, he's from Harlem. I'm still out there with the people in the streets. I'm outside with them because you got to show that you are one with your people. You know, some people get on and they come back, got security guards. Well, I got to have a security guard to come back to my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It's my people's. Hip hop is going through life support right now. I'm sorry. Straight life support.
Well, I like that you're bringing it back, and I love your
Mm-hmm.
sound. This is your second time being here on the private room, so that
Yes.
you know that should say something right there.
Yeah.
I thought you would definitely vibe real well with Kenny and Carrie.
Word.
So let's
They're
go
my
ahead and
brothers right there. They're my brothers
yeah,
right there.
yeah,
Word
yes,
up.
yes. Let's go ahead and get into our interview. Kenny, tell us about you. Tell us about your organization, and give us some history about you.
Um, I am Kenny Robinson, and I'm the founder and executive director of Freedom Fighting Missionaries, which is a nonprofit organization that I founded in 2020. And our focus is to assist the formerly incarcerated criminal justice involved individuals and families of those impacted by the criminal justice system. This work that I was chosen to do is based off of our own lived experience here in Charlotte after being released from federal prison, serving 10 years at a young age, and released here to Charlotte in need of the very most basic services like identifications, employment, healthcare, housing, and finding that to be a struggle. So much so that I experienced going on 40 interviews and getting told no 40 times in a row for a minimum wage job. Uh, that was in 2012. So after a measure of success, which stemmed from me begging to get into a car dealership, uh, and the team there hearing my cries and giving me an opportunity, which I took that opportunity very seriously. And I mean, I give this speech a lot now,
Hmm. I
right?
know.
And the work that I do, and I'm always careful to note that one of the biggest differences for an individual like myself who had spent 10 years in federal prison, once I got that opportunity in a car dealership, the biggest difference for me was having access to the internet, right? Because, now I have a desk and I had a computer. So I was able to learn things quickly. Other than that, I mean, you'd have to know the Dewey Decimal System, go to the library, check out a book, read it, comprehend it, and be able to apply it. The internet removes those type of barriers, right, where you're able to learn visually through videos and directly from experts in whatever field that you're in. That was the biggest difference for me. And again, I took that very seriously and became a top salesperson there in the dealership within 6 months, uh, and a top salesperson in the city within a year. Utilizing, just grind and drive, coupled with the fact that I read over 1,000 books while I was incarcerated. Uh, I took and studied Toastmasters on the inside, became a Toastmaster general, right, and taught the Toastmasters for 3 years. uh, Believed in myself, right, and then just walked in the purpose and the prayers that were set before me from my ancestors. Now, right, my grandmother and my family was very religious, right, and they prayed for our future, right. So they prayed for me at age 20, 30, and 40, right, and I walked in that purpose,
Hmm.
and in that eventually, I was promoted to finance manager within the dealership.
Wow.
And again, these are not Joe's used cars, right? These are franchise dealerships that I worked in: Mazda,
Hmm.
uh, Chevrolet, BMW, uh, and Honda dealerships. So after finance manager, then I was promoted to sales manager, which in those times between finance manager and sales manager, that those titles gave me the ability to hire, right. So pre-COVID, right, getting a job interview was a serious thing, right. Right, if
Right.
you were called in for an interview, you applied for the job, right, Craigslist or whatever. And if you got called in for an interview, that was worthy of putting on a suit and a tie if you were a man, all right, or your best attire if you was a woman, and coming there prepared.
Right.
However, as the interviewee, right, and not the person doing the interview, you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, when you put out an ad for employment at those times, where you would get hundreds of resumes in from Craigslist and from all over the place. Uh, and as a measure of process of elimination for a manager or the hiring manager, right? Well, it's easy to go through those resumes and dismiss all of the people who have a criminal background, right? And then in many cases dismiss the women, right? Because after race and after other barriers comes gender bias. And so your stack gets low, right? And then you call some people in. I did the exact opposite of that and went through the resumes and asked those and my managers and those above me to give individuals an opportunity that I would be willing to train them and work with them directly. And I did that for many individuals and became known in the community for such. So when I hit the glass ceiling, right, as a lot of us do, they wasn't going to allow me to own a dealership or nothing. Right. I had reached as high as they was going to let me reach. And, many of them said that I ought to be satisfied with that, right?
Wow.
Making a good income and respected in the workplace, right?
Mhm.
Pretty much free to move about as I chose to there, right? Considering the fact that I worked hard and had built up a reputation I just needed to be there, right? I had so much return business and customers coming in asking directly for me. I just kind of needed to be there when I chose to.
Right.
Many of those individuals that I trained along the way, a lot of them are managers now and all up and down the East Coast, homeowners and doing well. So again, once I hit that glass ceiling, I wasn't satisfied with that, and I retired in December of 2019 to start my own nonprofit organization and to focus on some of my for-profit businesses. Of course, at that time, right, none of us knew that COVID was coming, right, and definitely didn't think that they would slaughter George Floyd in the way that they did, right. Those two events was monumental to our growth and success, of course, unbeknownst to us at that time, right. Uh, Now, along my journey, I had went to a lot of different nonprofit organizations seeking help and seeking assistance.
Mhm.
Once I became successful, I went back and spoke to a lot of those nonprofit organizations. Right? And a lot of times they would have funders there. And after I would tell my story, then of course the funders would be moved and then would give those organizations a grant. Right.
Right.
So I did have relationships with several nonprofit founders who, when I struck out, did take their time to invest in me upon my request to teach me the back end, right, of nonprofit organizations. It's a business, right, and paperwork and things that you have to do. Regardless of your passion and desire to help others, there's still, I's that must be dotted and T's that must be crossed. And if you don't know where to put them, right, well, that's just the equivalent of trying to start a for-profit business, right? So just as many nonprofit organizations fail as many for-profit businesses fail, just from lack of knowledge. So I did have individuals who invest in me early. So taking that coupled with my strong passion to assist those who were facing the same barriers that I faced, uh, I struck out. Again, of course, once COVID hit, that changed the course of things, right? We had a plan to assist maybe 5 to 10 individuals the pre-COVID way, right? Where you got to talk this way, you got to kind of like walk this way, right, and use this kind of language, right? And in most cases, right, you might have to cut your hair, right, and look to what we believed at that time presentable to those that were in control.
Mm-hmm.
But once George Floyd was slaughtered and the many others that fell behind there, and the protests ensued, right? Well, a lot of us across the country grew our hair in our beards and said, we're just not doing that no more. It gets us nothing, right? If a man's going to put a knee in our neck, regardless of what kind of suit we wear or what type of language we use, we might as well be our true self, right? So amongst the protests that were going on around the country, they were happening here in Charlotte too. Right? And many of those individuals were getting locked up and needed some support on return. Now, with everything shut down because of COVID, you had a lot of individuals who were already homeless, already displaced, right? Already had a lack of available resources. So we literally had to take to the streets with our laptops and using our cell phones to connect the Wi-Fi to, process applications for individuals who did qualify for a stimulus, right, or who did qualify for the increase in food stamps, right, who did qualify for emergency housing, even if that was in the hotel. But you're talking about individuals who may not even have had a cell phone. And if they did, then how do you scan this and upload that and all of these things on the street? Right.
Right.
Most of these people were already in poverty. Over 80% of them were Black and were natives of Charlotte, right? Which means that they were from here, originally from here, and were suffering during the pandemic. So you'd have individuals who had served their time in federal and state prison, 10 and 15 years, right? Came back home. Their projects didn't exist anymore, right? They were completely gone. And there was a white lady walking a little dog where they used to hustle at, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And people were in the mass, right? So you had individuals who were getting dropped off at the shelters, right? Just serving 10 and 15 years, go in the shelter and come out with a tent, a mask, and a small bottle of sanitizer. Right, was the reality of things that were going on in Charlotte as we were trying to build our nonprofit. And somebody out there in the tent cities, right, or on the streets, would say, okay, well, if you just got out of jail or prison, maybe you ought to try the freedom fighters, right, or call Kenny or somebody. Maybe one of them can help you. Right. And we receive calls like that from men and women, sometimes with children in tow, with nowhere to go, right? And unlimited resources, right? Because no grants for us, right? You're new, you Black led, and you're talking about helping people getting out of jail, right? There ain't no money for you, right? No funding for you, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of this work early on was self-funded, right? Which means that we were using our own personal dollars, right? My time now is worth $125 an hour, right? That's what I would have been making in the dealership, right? So you take my time and you take the resources and funding that wasn't there, and you got to self-fund, right? Now, another thing that I did learn in the dealership was how to market and advertise, because a lot of times the vendors would have to go through me to get to the man, right? They'd have to present to me, right? And selling TV ads and radio ads and all of that. So I learned about those things, and I was able to utilize that to raise the funds that we needed, along with our partners. So in 2020, we were able to assist around 57 individuals, and we raised around 178,000.
Nice.
10 and 20 and $30 at a time, right, to assist those individuals. Process hundreds of applications for individuals, recovering nearly $250,000 in stimulus funds for people who did qualify for them, which pushed us on over into 2021, where we shifted our focus away from the local, state, and federal governments, stop begging them, right, for just what didn't exist, and focus on the healthcare field, right, who had a similar transition to those in reentry, right, which, for us means that if you go into the hospital with two legs and come out with one, right, you're going to have to go through a transition, and somebody's going to have to assist you with that, right? So the healthcare field and the hospitals had a similar transition. So I, made a plea to them after one of the CEOs from the behavioral healthcare system, Trey Sutton, came down and met with me in a mask, and I was able to take him around to the tent cities and to some of the neighborhoods where we serve. And he firsthand saw exactly what was going on in person versus on TV, and gave me an opportunity to present to their executive board. And I presented to them the truth. If you're black, have a criminal background, and are a native of Charlotte, that in fact you have a disability equivalent to a blind man, right? But the difference was that the blind man would have somewhere to go. He can go over there to the place for the blind, right? And they'll help him, right? But individuals like I'm talking about didn't have nowhere to go. They heard my cries, and they were the first healthcare system to give us a grant. That grant was for $100,000, right, to start with, which allowed me to hire some staff, formalize our program into 4 phases, do more marketing and advertising, create events. And in 2021, we were able to assist around 157 individuals and provide housing for 12 of them, permanent housing for 12 of them. Now, with that much, is that my time?
No. No, I wanted to have some, because before I want to make sure I have all this stuff in my head that I want to talk to you about. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to back up to the time that you were transitioning out of incarceration, and you spoke of, having to go, and you were applying for those jobs, and you got 40 rejections and so forth and so on. And then you got your break with the car dealership. So for you, I just wanted to, I think it's really important for people that have never been incarcerated, who've never been through this type of experience, to understand the mental aspect behind going back into the community, transitioning back into the community as someone who has been just released. So I would like for you to share, how that was for you mentally and emotionally, getting out of incarceration, trying to find a job to support yourself. I think that's really important for us to share. So can you reflect on that for us for a moment? And then I had a couple of follow-up questions for you.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's an easy question to answer, right? Because as a man, a black man, nothing is more demeaning, humiliating, and have an impact on your mental health than not being able to provide and take care of your own children, right? So, I mean, you take that with the fact that you're getting told no each way and every way you go, right? That there's an opportunity to feed yourself and your children, but you might have to commit a crime to do that, right? So these are daily things that you go through. Right, going into the store and want to buy Black and Mild and got change in your pocket to do that with, right, is the reality of those things. So, I mean, we could easily use our imagination and say, well, what would that do to a man, right, to a black man, right, struggling, trying to find his way and stay out of jail and can't feed his kids, right? So it's either going to be 2 things. Either you'll revert back to what you know, or you'll find the strength to press forward, right? And I just did the latter. Right, a lot of times I just found the strength to press forward through that while dealing with mental health, depression, and lack of funds in my pocket.
Yes. So I used to work and had the honor of working at NC Works, which is now Equays, and I actually pretty much took over the reentry population because I had a passion for it before I started working there. But working there, I really started to appreciate the needs of and the resources for those that were transitioning out of incarceration. I helped several young men get their CDL licenses and start their own businesses and get training because I understood their frustration when they sat down with me and the perception that they received with maybe my counterpart who was an older Caucasian woman, or a woman who, of course, has never had to work with someone who was formerly incarcerated. So I became the one for everybody to see when it came to, being reentry and transitioning, and just kind of learning the services and resources, and really, really built a passion for working with those individuals. And so I started taking all of them. Because I fought for them and I advocated for them. So when it comes to the top needs that you see from people who are really needing support and needing someone to advocate for them, what do you see are the top needs of individuals that are reentering or going back into the community from incarceration?
Well, the very most basic needs. Some of these things had not been provided to us prior to incarceration. So you're talking about things like an identification, birth certificate, social security card. You're talking about quality, dignified primary health care.
Mm-hmm.
Not only just employment, but employment readiness, right? And what we call employment etiquette, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having never worked in the workplace, somebody has to teach you how to act in there.
Yes.
Right? Can't
Learning
look
those soft skills.
that way, right? Can't talk this way,
Mm-hmm.
right? Gonna have to sit down in front of a computer and do some onboarding, right? What does that even mean, right? What is my tax bracket, right? What is that, right? What is my tax bracket? What do I put here, right? And a lot of these things, right, can be overwhelming to someone who's never been through it. So much so, I've seen people get up from the seat, already had the job,
Right.
Get up from the seat and walk out of there overwhelmed. So these things have to be taught, and then from their house, right? Because you can achieve all of those things and then get to the point of needing your own housing, and nobody will rent to you because of your background.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the most basic things are the things that individuals needed when I got out, since I've been out, and to this day, and that is the focus of our program, which operates in those 4 phases: identification, healthcare, employment, and housing.
Yes, yes. I identify those needs as well. So thank you for sharing that with us. And I was able to work with a young man. He had been incarcerated for 20 years. So of course, him coming out of the system, of course, he didn't have an email address. He had to, get his birth certificate and his social security numbers again. He had to do a resume, and, he's like, how can I do a resume? I've been locked up for 20 years. So we talked about, taking those skills of the work that he did while he was incarcerated and turning those into a resume. So having those means and having that training is so important for people that are transitioning. How is your program funded to help people that are needing all of these services? Is it individual organizations that are offering these services to your population or to your consumers? Or how are the services and resources funded for those that come to you that need support?
Well, again, like I stated, in 2020, we were self-funded. In 2021, we were able to break through to the healthcare field. Again, our fundraising never stopped. And I come from sales, right? So I don't mind to call you 100 times, email you 200 times, and wait for you outside of your job, right? And a lot of that is what I had to do while creating an underground railroad of support with individuals that look like us, a lot of them, and a lot of them don't, right? Who heard my cries, and where their organizations that they worked at, and the government that they worked at, and the businesses that they worked at did not have a way to support reentry or the formerly incarcerated. Those individuals themselves went into their own personal pockets, right, or gave access to their networks, right, and vouched for me.
Right.
So I've had meeting after meetings. So our funding now in 2020, 2022 and moving forward through our work and credibility, which is very visible throughout the community. Right? We were able to eventually secure funding from Mecklenburg County. Uh, that was 750,000. The city of Charlotte, they did eventually fund us 315,000. We raising $200,000-300,000, uh, every 6 months on our own. Banks did come on, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, right? The Foundation of Carolinas, right? Other private foundations. Again, so we used the tool of doing the work first, right? Self-sacrifice, right? And doing the work first versus if you give me this money, then I'll do this work, right?
Right.
And I'm going to need this money. Well, we did the work and sweat equity. And then those in those positions, they saw the work, respected the work, and then we were able to obtain funding, which is now sustainable year after year. So we went from no budget to now around about a $1.7 million a year uh, budget within a little over 2 years.
That is amazing. That is amazing. It really, really is. I know that Mr. Shipman has a event coming up that it will help educate and raise awareness around issues concerning those that are transitioning back into the community. So, Mr. Shipman, can you tell us about you, your organization, and your event that you have coming up?
Thank you. And Kenny, the work you do, man, it's amazing. Just your growth from, that point from the beginning to now. And I totally understand how it is in the nonprofit world. And our work is similar to the work you do. We have a second chance job fair coming up. It will be on November the 19th between 1 and 4 at the La Marina Hotel right downtown. Resolute Charlotte was originally Resolute Charleston. It was founded in 2018 in Charleston, South Carolina. It started off as a GED prep course. A lot of individuals who were incarcerated or coming home, they lacked actual education. And one of my experiences, I started with a GED, went to college, went to law school, and went on to corporate. From there, I realized that education was a big factor into opening doors to move forward, just with upward mobility in general. So education was really big for me. As I transitioned to Charlotte, we realized the similar issues. It's not about the city you're in, because most cities have the same issues. Being from Harlem, being in South Carolina, and coming to Charlotte, the issues are similar. Being in the criminal justice system, the problems are still the same for a Black man, as you mentioned. So the work we do, our mission is dedicated to promoting self-betterment, upward mobility, and opportunity, education, training at Charlotte. So work is very similar. Right now, we have the job fair coming up. It's hard for individuals to find a job and find employment. So we got some employers together, let them know, hey, it's a lot of individuals out here looking for employment, and they want better opportunities. The warehouse is there, the restaurants are there. Let's give these people these opportunities, and that's what the focus of this job fair that we have coming up this weekend. Currently, I serve as the magistrate judge, one of the magistrate judges for Mecklenburg County. So each day I see individuals in the criminal justice system, and how hard it is when someone get a charge, a felony charge, and just working throughout the criminal justice system overall in my career. I just see how hard it is on the back end, especially where I'm coming from, where I'm from, where I'm going, and just my family around me. So I'm investing in this work. This is something I have a passion for, and I'm here to stay. And I look forward to working with you all in the future, just because there's a lot of work to be done here.
Yes, it is a lot of work to be done. I definitely am glad that we are connecting because this is something that I've always felt very strongly about, that people, once they go into the system and they come out, that they should not have to live the rest of their lives paying for what they did before. They served their time, and so they deserve the chance to be able to care for their families, to support their families, to live as if they did not have charges. Unfortunately, we know that a lot of people that leave incarceration and go into the community return back into the system. But I firmly believe that that's because when they come out, they don't have the resources, they don't have the support, they don't have what they need to be successful in the community. And that's because of a lot of the stigma around, having a background, a criminal background, even as small as, going in for a year or two on a drug charge or whatever, but it follows you for the rest of your life. And working with domestic violence victims, I deal with that with domestic violence victims who were defending themselves, but got an assault charge, and now they can't find a job, or they can't return back to the work that they had. And so I advocate and fight for those victims who we know have histories of their abusers doing something or harming them, and they try to defend themselves, and now they have charges. So I'm really passionate about this, and really, really glad to be able to have this platform to talk about this. I know all of you are men on your platform, but I would love for you to tell me how it is when it comes to men versus women. Do you see a difference in the needs? Do you see that men are coming to you more than maybe women are coming to you? Do you focus only on helping men coming out of incarceration? I would love to get your feedback on that. And anyone can answer.
Well, surprisingly, 65% of the people that we serve are women with children. It's easy for the mind to think, when you think of crime and you think of release from incarceration, to think of the man who must have robbed somebody, right? Caught with a gun or caught with drugs or something. Right? It's easy to think that, right? And what is that man going to do? Well, the reality of it is that a man, a single man without a child in tow, right, providing he has a certain level of persistence and determination, once employed, is more likely to find a woman to live with, right? Because he doesn't have children in tow, right? So the woman with a child who she's been displaced from, or several children, it's harder for her to get with a working man who has his own place while bringing her children while trying to rebuild her life, right? So what happens to that woman? Well, she's on somebody's couch, tiptoeing around with her children, right? Be quiet, don't go in the refrigerator, don't do this. A hard way to live, right? So right now, that's who we serve the most. Women with children get to the front of the line, then the elderly and the disabled, and a healthy man is last on the list, right? Because he can fend for himself easier than a woman with a 2-year-old can.
Yes. We're seeing that as well. I work for a healthcare LMC, and we were talking to Mecklenburg County courts about those that were getting charges and needing to have services related to healthcare. And they were saying that the biggest problem that they were having is that 80%, if not 90%, of the people that are individuals that are coming out of incarceration don't have health care, and they're being turned down for Medicaid because they are men, they are single, and they don't have kids. So even though they have no job, they don't have a place to live, and they, of course, have just been released from incarceration, they can't get health insurance. So they can't get health insurance. Now they are not able to get the services that they need for their mental health, for their physical health. And that leads to so many other other problems. So that's something that Mecklenburg County is really, really dealing with. But I mean, everywhere is dealing with. But having that meeting with him, it wasn't shocking, but in a way it was, because it helped me to really understand even more that this work is important and it's vital to be able to help these individuals get back on their feet when they have so many barriers up or that have been put up that they need to knock down. So Kerry, sorry, your event this weekend, tell us the date and the time, and then tell us how maybe organizations or people that are interested in, assisting with employment for those who have formerly incarcerated, how can they assist you in meeting your mission and your goal?
Okay. So our second chance job fair will be on November the 19th between 1 and 4 at the La Marina Hotel, downtown Charlotte. We're open to different employers coming in, hiring individuals for second chance employment. They can go to our website and at resolutecharlotte.org. Also, individuals who choose to sign up and come to the event, they can also sign up online and get tickets. It's an Eventbrite link on the website. Click there to sign up either as an employer or as a participant that's coming to the event. So that's one of the primary things. I'm gonna mention this part too about mental health. That is a big aspect, and some of the issues that we are seeing. We serve crime. We see a lot of Black men that come to our office for assistance. We have a mental health aspect in-house with our nonprofit. And one of the issues that we do see, as you mentioned, is getting them qualified for Medicaid. And that's a big issue in regards to helping them provide services, especially mental health services. So that's one thing that we do focus on, in addition to job preparation, GD preparation, and other community services, as he mentioned as well. So,
right. Yes. Well, thank you for that information. So are people going to be actually interviewing at your event on Saturday, or is it just more of a networking event?
It just depends on the employer and how they choose. You give the employer the option how they want to do their hiring. Some may take the application on the spot, or some may do an interview on the spot, just depending on the employer. So it's up to the employer. But we're still looking for additional businesses to come out and set up a table. There's no charge for the table at all. So we're open. We're open.
Okay, that's great. That is very great. So Kay Davis, I know that you're from Harlem. I know that you've had experiences, and I'm sure that people that have come out of incarceration. For you, what do you think about all this? And do you have any questions when it comes to how we can support individuals coming out of incarceration? You're on mute.
Am I off mute now?
Yep, you are.
Okay, I did 6 years in prison myself. I did 6 years in state. All right, I was living in Mount Vernon, New York at the time. I got locked up for a steering charge. A simple steering charge set me up north 6 years. They claim I knew, and the drugs under the tire was mine. And at the time, I ain't know the law. I was just out there. So I spent 6 years in prison. I went to Green, Clinton, everywhere, all over. One day, I woke up. This is a real story, y'all. True, sad. I woke up. I said, Davis, going to court. I ain't got caught yet. Oh, you got caught. Went to court. See my family in court. The judge told me, we apologize. It wasn't you. So I stayed there for 6 years for something that wasn't done. I ain't nothing to do with it at all. My brother was in it with me, with my co-defendant. 6 years of my life. So the program that the brother Kenny has, I respect that, both of y'all, and I understand that we got the youth out here. The youth need help. I see kids out here, no job. They roaming the streets, hanging out, doing nothing. Not even, they don't got no rec centers no more. Ain't nowhere for the kids to play. The park is being shot up, so the kids don't want to go there. I got a 15-year-old. He just be in the room on that game all day long. So I'm thinking like, damn, what else out there besides the game? Where's the education? Where's the after-school program? Where's the PAL?
But
You
if
know,
yeah.
right? They ain't got none of that. So I opened up a small record label called Black House Music. It's called Black House because they got the White House, so we got the Black House, Black House Music, and I'm trying to sign. Yeah, I'm trying to sign artists that can't get deals. I want to make them, bring that talent out of them. I ain't gonna be doing this forever. I know when it's time to sit down and take a seat and let somebody else shine. So I wanted to ask the brother over there, how did he get that nonprofit? Because I've been trying to get a nonprofit for a long time. And I believe my background, my criminal history that I once had, in the past. They look at that shit. And I'm trying to get funding for this little label I got so I can help the youth. It ain't about my pockets. It's about the youth having something to do. If I could create a big enough buzz, I could take them around the world, let them perform their songs and see different places that they ain't never see. When I go to Charlotte, I'm like, okay, they got a White House in Charlotte. It was like a little roller rink joint. They got the glow in the dark bowling alley. They got a lot of spots. It's just like it remind me of New York. That's what it remind me of, So I feel like right now we gotta educate instead of miseducating. And I try to put it in my raps. I try to go to little group homes and talk to the kids and see what they want to do. I do that type of stuff. I go back to the jails. I do speak in the jails. My man Don Diva, he had a magazine called Don Diva, and that was the first magazine we got in the joint. It was a Don Diva joint. So Kevin Childs, when I came out, I reached out to him. These dudes, they good dudes, but sometimes you need to have people that's underground that'll help you for real and not just tell you I'm gonna call you and never call you, and you need this help. My record label's not gonna fund what we doing right here because it ain't what they want to do. I'm signed to Interscope Records, and they're not gonna give me $100,000 to fund the project that we're gonna do for the neighborhood. They ain't gonna build the old folks home. My mama got dementia. They're not gonna build the old folks home to get these homeless. Have you seen the homeless out here? Have you been to California? Seen Skid Row? Yeah. Have you seen the pipeline in Las Vegas? Have you seen that? The children out there in them tents. All them superstars up there can't throw $15,000-$20,000 down there and clean it up right there. That's what I'm trying to do, clean it up. But I need help doing it. I can't do it by myself. And I want to get a nonprofit. I want to go the way you going, brother, because you're going the right way. Both of y'all going the right way. And I thank y'all for inspiring. That's why I sat here and listened. I don't want to talk. You inspire me to say, okay, I could do it too, to add on to what you're doing. It ain't about me. It's about us. Can't win a game with just yourself playing. I learned that the hard way. I tried to play by myself. Yeah, I'm the man. Actually, they get me nowhere. So now, I want to give back to the community in a big way, man. That's why I'm still doing music. I'm still trying to stack these coins up because I got a bigger plan. After this rap, the smoke clears, the plan is similar to what you're doing, okay? So it's similar to that, man. Because I've been homeless, man. Me and my kids been sleeping. We've been homeless house to house. Be quiet. Don't go. They sleep. I've been through all of that. Nobody had helped me. My uncle ain't never know because I wasn't trying to go to my family because I knew that it was gonna be a long speech. Why? Ain't no why. Help me. So I've been in mad shelters throughout New York City, the Coachman, West Hab, Open Doors. I've been everywhere. So I don't want to see another family go through that. I got myself out of it. I'm good now. But I'm out here in Cali. It's nice. But I don't want to see another family go through it. So whatever I could do on my end, if it's through the media, if it's through the microphone, if I get on, I'm doing Vlad TV next week. If I gotta say it on Vlad TV, I'll do that. That's whatever I could do, man. Just tell me and I'll do it. That's my piece.
I like that. I know that I have my organization, and it's hard. It's hard to get started and know which way to go, so forth and so on. But I definitely will make sure that I connect you, Davis, to Kenny and Kerry, because they're doing it. And they know your story. They have their own stories and they have their own background. And that's why I was really excited to get all three of you on this platform tonight, because this right here is a wide variety of experiences and passion and purpose right here. So,
Can I say one more thing?
Kenny,
Can I say one more thing?
yes, mhm,
Can I say one more thing to
yes, sir.
Kenny and Kerry? Yo, first, this goes to Kenny. Yo, Kenny, man, you inspired me. You know, you made me feel alive again, and I thank you for that because I was feeling kind of a little depressed earlier. Yo, your story is a phenomenal story, and I commend you for what you've doing and for what you've done and for what you are about to do to the world. And I bless you, my brother, and I thank you so much for that, man. And Kerry, same thing, man. You know, for you coming from Harlem, going down south, and got that movement going on for these children, I thank y'all, man, deeply because we ain't promised tomorrow, man. You're doing it now, and I think both of y'all for just listening to me. Thank you.
You're welcome. And one of the goals of our organization is to go travel that road, right? Sometimes the hard way, right? So, um, whereas may have been harder for me, it'll now easier for brothers like you, right? Because that road has already been traveled and those connections have already been made, right? So we are in the best position to help each other, right? Because I understand your language, your story, and where you're coming from, right? So it's easier for us now to guide you in that direction than it would have been for you to do it on your own. So we're happy to be here for you and just inspire not only you, but the many other brothers who have a dream and a desire to reach back and help their community, but don't always understand how to do it. And, we're doing it to make it easier for you. So keep your head up. Stay on the block. Stay up.
I'm trying,
Stay
baby.
up.
You just
And,
kept my head up
got
today,
you.
man. That's good. Yeah.
Keep doing it, Dougie, man. You got it.
Yeah, man. That's
and
cool.
Doug
man.
is a good dude, right? Because
Yeah.
I was in the feds with his man Chubbs, right?
Oh, that's my man, Chubb.
Doug used to come through, right? He came all the way to South Carolina. I think I was in Venice,ville at that time, right?
Wow,
And
Chubb,
Doug used to travel from New York to visit Chubbs, right? He came in the business phone, right? And a lot of the dudes that he came up with, right? Because they all from around there, around Puff Block. Right, my man, I was getting money with my man Mo. They all came up together with Doug, right?
Mo.
Yeah, Mo. Yeah,
You're
Mo.
naming some names right now.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just around the same age, right? So
yeah, man.
Yeah. I'm not from Harlem, but when I used to go to Harlem, I was 145th and beyond.
Oh,
right?
Of course, man. Sugar Hill, baby. Yeah, that's right.
Back to you.
I love this. I love this.
Word. It's a Chubby Chubb. That blew me away right there. Chubb DJing now too. He DJing now. Yeah, I be seeing him on Facebook, man. Yeah, man.
Y'all gonna make me call my pops on the line to get him on this phone.
Word up. Get him on live. Get him on live, man. Yeah.
It is so good to be able to see our kings out here in the community doing good work. I think that it's very important for us as women, and especially Black women, to really applaud our men that are out here in the community that are doing big things and great things. So I truly appreciate y'all for everything that you're doing, whether it's for profit, nonprofit, whether it's, in local, national. You are doing something to change and help your community. And that is something that I highly respect because I think it's important. Working with kids for most of my career as a social worker, I always wanted to make sure I had men that were volunteering in whatever capacity that I was or whatever position I was in, because men make a very big difference with our children. They say that men that are in the community leading and that are mentors have a greater impact than female volunteers, and that's because we know that our children. If I'm very traditional, I believe in the man being the head of the house, and so forth. And children see men as the head as well. They also see men as strong individuals and somebody to listen to and to that will guide them. So when we have men in the community doing the work that you guys are doing, I know that you're making an impact, and I truly appreciate that and what you're doing. If someone wants to get involved with you, what is your greatest need right now for your organization? I'll start with Kenny. What is your biggest need when it comes to if someone's listening right now and they want to do something? What is your greatest need right now?
Housing and the continued advocacy of such, right? In a way that's like sensible, right? And what I mean by sensible is that if a person has their own house, right, lease in their name, has a job, has transportation, has something to lose, right? You don't want to lose your apartment, you don't want to lose your car, right? You don't want to lose your job, right? But that person is less likely to commit a poverty crime, right? Or a crime of advancement financially, right? Less likely to take that risk, right, with something to lose. And nothing is greater than, having your own place, right, with your own key. Right? So our greatest need is in housing. And for those that can't provide the housing, the advocacy of such, right? So when individuals always ask me, all right, well, Kenny, how can I help? Right? Well, I always will tell them, you keep your money, right? And you just share us across your network, which is more sustainable, right? Because your dollars will go fast. Sometimes we spend upwards of $15,000 per month just in hotel bills, right? So money goes fast, but your network, right, and your endorsement is sustainable and long lasting, and that's what we ask for, advocacy in that area by sharing our work.
I like that. I like that. I know housing is definitely an issue, even more so now with inflation and with the rise in the rent, and buying houses and so forth and so on. It's crazy. It's crazy. I moved out of Charlotte to the Kannapolis Concord area at the time because it was cheaper. But now the rates here are just as bad as Charlotte, and it's not getting any better. And people, unfortunately, property management companies, landlords, homeowners are taking advantage of this. And so it's making it even more harder for people to be able to afford housing and so forth. So I can definitely understand how that is a need. If there's anyone out there who has any resources when it comes to housing or housing assistance, please make sure that you reach out to Kenny. Kenny, how can people get in contact with you?
By going to our social media, Freedom Fighting Missionary is on every platform: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. A simple Google search of Freedom Fighting Missionaries will take you exactly where you need to go. Our website is just that same, Freedom Fighting Missionaries. However you type it, .org, .com, .biz, I bought them all, right? So you can make a mistake and still get us, right? So
Okay. And I'm putting it in the chat as well. Okay, sounds great. What about you, Gary? What is your greatest need right now?
So as you know, nonprofit funding is the biggest thing. So funding is a primary thing with nonprofits in our organization, and the next thing will be just time, especially working with individuals helping get their GED. That's a lot of time invested. So that definitely can be helpful to our organization. Just putting the time. Most of the stuff can be done virtually as well. But people just investing the time will help our organization as well.
Okay, so I heard the part about the funding, but I didn't hear the second part completely. Can you repeat that?
The second part was time, especially with GED
Time.
preparation.
Got it.
End of the time, assisting with all hands on deck with GED prep, with organization and sometimes for intake. That'll definitely help. Most of the stuff could be done virtually as well.
Okay. Sounds good. How can people get in contact with you to be able to support you in those ways?
ResoluteCharlotte.org. That's our website. Everything's on our website. How to volunteer, and social media as well as Resolute Charlotte.
Nice. I am a case manager with about 15 years of social work experience. So I'm going to reach out to you and see if maybe I can assist with like case management or helping with some of your needs as well. I'm going to be reaching out to all of you, but that's something that I definitely would like to talk to you about, Kerry, especially when it comes to mental health. So I will definitely be reaching out to you. Kay Davis, tell us what your need is right now. So you have a vision you want to help use. Tell us what your need is. This is your opportunity to tell the people out there what it is that you need to make that happen.
I need a little bit of extra funding, man, to make this thing come alive. I need some funding, like a machine behind this little label. Any artists out there that want to get started, you can't get a deal with nobody big, I can give you a deal. I got an LLC company, Black House Music. I'm a branding specialist. I do all that, mentoring you. Now, what I could do is I can make your dream come alive. If you're in that field of what you're doing, if you're in the entertainment field, rapping, singing, dancing, whatever, making beats, videos. Got a video company as well called Black House Films. I film my own videos, TV shows, sitcoms. I do a lot of things that behind the scenes. But I'm looking for extra funding to boost up what I'm doing. Meaning like the touring, the promotional situations, and the touring is what breaks you. So if I could get that, because like I said, my label ain't trying to put in if they ain't involved. This is something I'm doing on my own. It's my first time opening a record label. I know a lot about the business. I've been in it a long time, and I want to help the next young person get their dream started the right way. I don't want to jerk you. You ain't got to sleep with no man. None of that gay shit they doing. It's gonna be straight up entertainment, talent. So come on over to Black House Music. Let's get your record out properly.
Nice. Nice. I like it. I like it. And so if we have any artists out there who would like the opportunity to be able to make it, definitely reach out to Kay Davis, the Hitman. And when it comes to his vision to helping youths also enter into the industry, please reach out to him if you have resources, funding resources, grants, or anything that you might be able to assist him with. And just reach out. Kay Davis, tell us how people can, or how artists can reach you about possibly working with you, and then how can people reach you if they're interested in helping you with your vision for the youth?
You can reach me on Instagram, K_Davis_the_Hitman. You can reach me on Facebook under Manson Bates, or you can reach me on TikTok, K Davis the Hitman, or my website, www.kdavisthehitman.com. That's what I got for right now, because I used to be another name, Manson Bates, and I had to change and all this stuff. When I left the company, I don't want to be long-winded, y'all. I like to talk a lot, but when I left the old company, I do. I run my mouth, but when I left the old company, I left my first record label. They kept my name and they kept my masters. They said, if you leave here, you're gonna leave here with nothing. I said, okay, my name is Kareem Davis, so I'm Kareem Abdul Davis. So I'm gonna come in the game as me. The Manson Bates is a good friend of mine named KK from Harlem, and K Superior, real tall guy. He gave me a name and I ran with it. But you can find me there, y'all, and I help you as much as I can.
Thank you. I have an artist I want to introduce you to. So when we get off of this episode. So thank you everybody for joining us tonight, but do not go away. We have another song for you by Kay Davis, the Hitman. And please, Kenny and Kerry, stay on so that you can vibe out with us so that we can go ahead and close out the private room with Tiffany tonight. I appreciate
real quickly. Please go and follow my man Kay Davis, right? He's a little humble, right? But he does have 172,000 followers on Instagram, and you don't get that just by being a slouch, right? So please go and follow him right now on Instagram and share his word.
Yes, I like that. Thank you so much. Thank you for adding that. I appreciate that. So we are going to do full of Emotions by K. Davis the Hitman. We're going to get your feedback, and I appreciate all of you for coming on tonight, and definitely will be following up with you for some future topics and discussion.
Listen, shorty, I'm emotionally drained. All the fussing and the fighting is ferocious with pain. Your mom had the same problem, time to broken the chain. Get your goals in your life right, focus your aim. Nobody to blame. Here's a little token of change. You a sweetheart and sexy, open with range. Yeah, you love tons of gifts, I just get at your range. You ride in your own class, I'll be flying the plane. We could both get ahead or stay together instead. I miss your smell and waking up in your bed. Yeah, I'm on my grind. I think about you, plus you on my mind. I wanna paint the town and take you out to wine and dine. Alligator trench, red bottoms, picture fine. You will find it down, we gon' max then climb. Hit the path, fire sticks, 8K recline. Here's a hermassage sipping on expensive wine. I can't get you out of my head. You got me feeling the way. And I miss you inside of my bed. These feelings I can't take. And I'm going through these emotions. And now I'm going through these emotions. I wanna be yours. You got a complex and emotions is flared up. The last fight we had, your eyelids was teared up. My heart turned cold and my feelings is scared up. Keep things to myself, I believe I'm shared up. I sacrificed me when I brought you that Lex car. 7 nights and 8 days in the suite and the Lexar. We ran through Nevada, spending hundreds to big bills. You came out of the castle, you gave me the goose chills. My mind had hope me and you might work good. All along you had another dude in the deep hood. Girl, I forgave you, spoiled you and made you. Got you a good job, making figures that paid you. You wanted me alone and it happened, I blazed you. At one point, I was open, I praised you. Showed you the world in person and I raised you. Trip after trip when your ex-man caged you. Had you looking all bad, worn out, he aged you. Respect my love, I'm the heartbeat that saved you. I can't get you out of my head. And now you got me feeling the way. And I miss you inside of my bed. Now these feelings I can't take. And now I'm going through these emotions. And now I'm going through these emotions. I wanna be yours. We gon' bring the town. This money is so fine. We gon' bring the town. We gon' get this money so fine. We gon' bring the town. We gon' get this money so fine. We gon' bring the town. We gon' get this money so fine. I can't get you out of my head. And now you got me feeling the way. And I miss you inside of my bed. Now these feelings I can't take. And now I'm going through these.
I love that. I loved it. Like I can see us doing that video together and everything. I got my heels on. We
Hey,
going,
let's
we
do
sipping
it.
on wine.
That's it. You called it, so you're gonna be that person. You're gonna be that person.
Yes,
ladies,
I'm
man.
there. Just send me
Yeah.
my flight, and I'm coming. I love that. That was dope.
We're gonna do it in Charlotte. We're gonna do it in they got nice spots in Charlotte.
Okay, that's fine. You can come to me. That's fine.
That's right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. What did y'all think of that? What y'all thinking of that, Kenny and Kerry? What y'all
Oh
think?
yeah, I love it. That sounds just like a song you see one of them women walking to on TikTok.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I was feeling. I was feeling it.
Yeah.
I can see my outfit and everything right now.
This smooth flow, man. I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I want to give back to the women. You know, right nowadays, people are forgetting about the women. It's like the women make the clubs. When you go to the clubs, you go there for a woman. You know, and whatever the woman want, a man want. And a lot of these artists are forgetting about the women. Like I love dudes like LL and those my dudes, man. The dudes that rap for the women, man. You know, we know we from the streets. We know we give it up. We know we hard, but we ain't gotta always show that side. I like to show. My mother's a Gemini, so I got My mother's a Gemini, my father's a Libra, so I don't know what I got inside me. I'm Aquarius. I'm very emotional. I like to be emotional. I like to show emotion and I like to show affection. That's just me. I feel like it feels better. It makes everything better. You know?
Yes. Well, I loved it. And I'm sure the ladies loved it too. Kay Davis,
so.
you single? You single, Kay Davis?
Oh man, we ain't gonna talk about that right now.
That's another episode. That's another episode. All right. Well, thank you, fellas. Thank you, Kings. I truly appreciate you. I'm gonna say for all the women out there, we appreciate you and what you are doing in the community. Thank you so much for being here on the Private Room with Tiffany, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a successful event, Kerry, and I'm going to try to come through myself and put it out there as well.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you. Now.
Thank you.
See y'all later. All right, y'all. All right.
Good night.
Woke up in the morning, look in that mirror, see what I